I get interested in a stove when I see innovation, when I see something done in a new and better way. There's lots of stoves to choose from. Modern stoves, they'll burn fine. They'll have a good heat output. They'll have low emissions. They'll keep a clean glass. They'll have a good efficiency. But technology is always moving, and I like better ways, improved ways of doing things. And what I'm standing next to is an Opus Calypso, and there's lots of innovation in this baby here. Standard. It's a Scandinavian style upright stove, lovely big glass, curved glass. One of the interesting things about this stove is that it's a boiler stove. Nothing like the old black boxes we used to know with a tank of water all around a firebox that used to chug along. This is a completely different beast. One of the problems with a boiler stove is when you come to fit it, it's more complicated to install. It takes longer, it's more costly to install. For a start, you need a heatsink radiator. You need a pipe, a larger bore pipe that goes from the stove all the way up to the bathroom or another room like that, with a radiator that's permanently on and the return pipe coming back down. That sort of thing can put people off a boiler stove. Opus put their brains to that. Have a look what they did. Come round the back. Let me take the back off and show you what I'm talking about. The Opus Calypso comes pre-plumbed. No need for a heatsink radiator. You've got an overheat safety valve here. If you had your stove blatting along at full power and there was a power cut and your pump turns off, there's a copper coil that runs all the way through the back boiler. If the back boiler temperature of the water gets too high in the back boiler, that valve flicks open. That's connected to one side to the mains cold water, one side to drain. It immediately sends cold water through that copper coil and robs the heat from the back boiler. It'll carry on doing that as long as the power is off until your wood runs out and the temperature of the back boiler goes down. Brilliant. Immediately makes it easier to put in. All the installer is doing, the plumber is doing, is connecting up flow and return, one to mains cold water, one to drain. You're there. There's a pressure release valve already built into it. They're always good to have a load valve, just to keep the temperature of the back boiler constant. But it immediately makes things a lot easier. As far as I know, that's the only boiler stove that comes like that on our market, and it's just a brilliant idea. The other big difference between this boiler stove and traditional boiler stoves is that where it's taking the heat is certainly not initially down here. It's taking its heat up here. There are heat exchangers at the top. Where you get the most heat when you burn wood is above it. When you're burning coal, you get it at the side. But a wood burning stove, you want the heat exchangers here. The end result of that is you get a fire that burns like a dry stove. It's controllable like a dry stove. It can burn slowly. You can turn it right down, and just with a few flickering flames, it'll burn for hours. It's a completely different burn from the traditional boiler stove because you've got fire bricks inside. In fact, the really big, heavy ones here inside here. So you keep a good firebox temperature. With a good high firebox temperature, you're getting a really clean stove burn. You're getting a really clean burn. You're getting a really efficient burn. You'll keep a clean glass. Everything you get off a dry stove, and yet it's a boiler stove. So that is rated at 8 kilowatt with 5 kilowatt going to water and 3.5 going to the room. And that's its nominal. The other innovations, just the way it seems the way Opus do it. You look at how the door closes. You've got a long, tall door, so you can have a long, tall glass, so you get a really good view of the fire. But when Opus go to lock it, it has a Let me get out your way. It has a triple locking. It locks there, there, and there. All with roller bearings, so it's easy to close. So if you've got a stove with a tall door like this, if you load it up to the gills, open it wide open, and in effect cook your stove, a door that tall in steel is going to move. Going to move slightly. You're not going to notice it, but it's not going to seal quite as well ever again. Opus, seal it, all three places. That door is never going to move. And to make it easy, log store underneath and a good size firebox. Open it up, straight in there. Plenty of room for wood. Load it up, set your controls. Simple primary and secondary controls. Set your controls. It will burn. It will warm the room it's in. It will warm the other rooms in your house, and it'll even be doing your hot water.